Dear colleagues, welcome to the day 2 of our Section 2 IT in Education and the Research within our conference of fourth international conference on smart information systems and technologies, IEEE CIS 2024. Yesterday, we had a very interesting presentations presented by our authors, and today we are expecting the same level of our presentation. So I'm wishing good luck for everyone. And let me introduce myself. My name is Nurgul Nalgojana. I am a moderator of this conference, and my colleague Aknur is also with me as a secretary of this conference, of this section. So we need some more minutes to start from our section presentations. I just wanted to confirm our first paper is ID 85, presented by Mirjan Baykuvekov from Al-Farabi Kazakh National University and Zeynel Mamunkulov from IATU Almaty, Kazakhstan. If these authors are here, we can start, but if no, let us wait for a few more minutes. Yesterday, we had a very interesting section presentation. So I was kindly asking everyone from the day 1 to participate on our day 2 too. Hopefully, our colleagues from that day will also join. But we also having participants offline here, and some participants are joining online. We are expecting 7 papers on a first half of our section. So at 4 p.m. we go for the coffee break. Just like kind reminder of the rules that we have. All participants, all authors have up to 7 minutes for the presentations, and then we're gonna have short Q&A session. So as a total 10 minutes for each participant. And then one of the most important requirement that you need to turn on your video while you will be presenting your paper. So this is the most important one. If there is no video, we could not accept that. So please, when you will be presenting your speech, turn on the camera. In one more point. So when you will be having 1 minute left, I will be just like reminding you that we have only 1 minute. So I'm saying sorry for that at the beginning, but please keep the timing. So let's start. I can see that Mirjan Baykuvekov from Al-Farabi Kazakh National University is here. Mr. Mirjan, you can start paper ID 85. Mirjan, are you with us? Baykuvekov Mirjan? Mirjan has left. Maybe he has some technical issues in terms of the connection. So let's just like move on, and maybe when he will be back, we will just like switch up. I'm kind of asking to present the paper of ID 87. So we have 5 authors here, and I believe Mr. Keshav Kumar will be presenting this paper. Mr. Keshav Kumar, you can start. Mr. Kumar, are you with us? Can you hear us? Alwa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I was just assuming maybe Mr. Keshav Kumar cannot hear us. Mr. Keshav Kumar, are you with us? So the next paper, fourth and third and fourth paper are the same authors. This is Mirjan Baykovekov. And since he's not joining yet, we would like to ask Murzakiramova Alwa from IT University to be the first and then present the paper. Alwa, Miss Alwa, you ready? Please, you can start.
Colleagues, can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm excited to present you my paper called Comparative Effectiveness of the Models and Methods for Diagnosing Diseases of Internal Organs. This is the part of my dissertation work. We did this paper with my research advisor, Katerina Viktorovna, and Askar Hikmetov. There are objectives of my presentations is I would like to present, tell you what is diagnosing spec systems, the paper goal, some advantages and limitations, effectiveness of the system that I would like to propose, and for the research direction. So as we know, the medical, medical diagnostic expert systems are computer programs which can help us to analyze the data faster and more and can help professionals in some problem situations. And
Alwa, could you please, excuse me, Alwa, could you please make the screen demonstration?
Screen demonstration?
No, like just press F5.
F5, okay. Is it okay now? No?
Демонстрация экрана, слайд-шоу. When you do the focus slides and then like make us the presentation. Do you see the scale on the right bottom side? So you can press the button there to make us the presenting the presentation, the slideshow.
Is it okay now?
Oh, now, yeah, now it's perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
So there was the objective. So now we know what is expert systems are, that they can help professionals in some situations. So also any of the systems can analyze the extensive data sets with the speed and accuracy. So this paper's goal, aim is to evaluate the system that we are proposing. We did some diagnostic accuracy assessment, understanding user experience, impact on clinical decision making, and importance of the research in guiding optimization for improved patient care outcomes. So how I'm sorry. Medical diagnostic systems can analyze the patient's data, symptoms, medical history, and test some results, and display intelligence behavior, provide the portable knowledge, process large volume of the data. It can be also helpful in medical education and training the students. They can check their knowledge. So there are phases that was used, that was done according to find the effectiveness of the system. So we the first phase was the preparation phase, which is every of these phases are important, and in order to find in order to show the effectiveness and safety of the automated system or expert system. So there are preparation phase, execution phase, analysis phase, and evaluation phase. And finally, we concluded it in the report. And some of the parts of this report showed in this conference paper. So how actually the effectiveness was calculated? It was so actually effectiveness can be demonstrated through their accuracy, efficiency, and impact on the healthcare outcomes. And totally there was 76 patients data was concerned, and 25 of them was with the symptoms for enteric and pancreatic inefficiency. 28 was for behind and malignant gastric uclear, and 23 for primary biliary cirrhosis of the liver. And with this mathematical we found we calculated the efficiency. So there are a number of successfully completed tests and total number of tests. So with this diagram, we can see that after retrospective analysis, this analysis shows that from among 25 patients, there are 90% was how to say equal. So
7 minutes.
was 20...
It's already 7 minutes. Could you please try to make the presentation faster? Thank you.
Finally, we can see the proposed system used to improve diagnostic capabilities to show the more accurate diagnosing over the time. So thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Alua, for the presentation. If anyone from online or offline participants have the questions, please welcome. So I wanted to ask one question regarding the presentation. You are saying that like you have done some comparative analysis of existing models, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and what is your proposed model? Are you proposing the new model, or your paper is about the comparative analysis?
This current paper is about comparative analysis, but in sorry. But mostly I use the fuzzy set theory.
So have you used the fuzzy set theory for the new proposing model, or you were saying that is
we just
use it in
I didn't hear you.
Sorry? Because on your last slide, I have seen that you are saying that there is a proposed system to improve diagnostic capabilities. So is that like, are you proposing that system according to your effective analysis, comparative effectiveness, or this is your future work? So could you please clarify this moment? On your last slide.
So this This effectiveness analysis was taken to show the effectiveness of my proposed model that is entered to the system. You know, so this showed that more than 80% was I would say equal to the diagnostic was so this performance more than 80% was compared of diagnosis made by healthcare professionals.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, colleagues? Yeah, there is one question also from our offline participants.
Well, thank you for your presentation. I have one question about your presentation. You said about you use 76% data were entered in your system, yes? First of all, how are you sort these patients and how you analyze, and in their table you show percent, for example, 91, 82, 93. What is mean? Explain, please.
I mean that, for example, for this disease, for enteric and pancreatic inefficiency, there was among 25 patients. Total, there was 76 patients, but there were 25 of them was for one disease, 28 for the second disease, and 23 for third disease. And among this 25%, there was 91% was equal to the disease that was proposed, or not proposed, диагноз был поставлен врачом. You know, the system was, как правильно сказать, что в 90% было совпадение того, что вы меня слышите?
I can hear you.
То есть из там 25 человек, 24.
No, Alua, we only in English, please. This is the requirement of the conference.
Sorry.
91, what does mean? I said
What do you mean?
91%,
93.
91, 93, and 82, yes?
Yes.
What is mean? It is
From 25 patients, 24 was equal. So the diagnosing was done by the system and was compared with diagnosing that was done by the healthcare professional. And in 81%, it was equal.
Thank
For
you.
the enteric and pancreatic inefficiency, for the hand and malignant gastric clear, it was 82%.
Thank you.
It was 25 patients among 28.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? If there is no questions, we can turn on to our next paper. Thank you, Alua. Could you please open the list of participants online? Mr. Keshav Kumar, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you right now.
Yeah, perfect. Alua, you need to, stop presenting. Thank you. So Mr. Keshav Kumar, your paper ID is 87.
Yes.
We are asking you to start presenting your
Just
paper.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah. I don't know, you were saying that you didn't hear us at the beginning. Just wanted
Yes.
to remind that we have a timing for up to 7 minutes for the presentation and then about 3 minutes for a Q&A session. And one of the requirement, you need to turn on the video, please. Turn on your camera, please, Mr. Keshav Kumar.
Just wait a minute.
Can you turn on your camera?
Just wait a minute.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you.
Visible?
Yeah, thank you.
So-
Please, you can start.
Okay, so myself, Keshav Kumar from Gyan City Research Lab, Greater Noida, India. So today I'm going to present a paper that is titled as HSTL IO standard based low power implementation of ECC electrical curve cryptography on FPGA. So the co-authors of my paper are Pushpanjali Pandey ma'am, myself, Vishwajit Pandey sir, Hardik Goel, Laila ma'am, and Ashish. So these are the contents of my paper. First, I will discuss about the overview, then the introduction, results, discussion, conclusion, and future scope. So, as we know that the technology is getting advanced day by day, and the cryptography is also getting advanced. So, one of the major cryptographic algorithm which we can use for securing our test data and messages, ECC algorithm. So, why we are using a ECC algorithm? Because ECC is a public having a cookies so that the message will be more secure. So in this work, we are generally using the HSTL IO standard, which is as high speed receiver logic IO standard to develop an energy efficient ECC algorithm, which is implementing on FPGA board. Here we are using a Kintex 7 FPGA. Now, when we are using the HSTL family IO standard, there are various HSTL IO standards over there. So here HSTL 218 is using 53.5% 73 more power than the HSTL 1 IO standard. Now, the question arises over here is what is 18? So 18 is the input voltage of the HSTL IO standard. What is it is taking? So here we are implementing basically the ECC algorithm and using on FPGA, that is Kintex 7 FPGA, and we are optimizing the power using the IO standard, that is the HSTL IO standard. Hello. Now, ECC algorithm is an elliptical curve cryptography, which is used to have both public and private key for encryption and decryption. Now, HSTL is what? HSTL is a high-speed transceiver logic, which is chosen among the set of 21 IO standards which are available on the FPGA. HSTL is quite familiar, quite popular as well. HSTL is often used to design various energy efficient devices like multipliers, some basic mathematics we can do on the FPGA. And we have also tested that those things, whatever, on different types of FPGA boards, which has the gate size of 40 nanometer, 65 nanometer, and 90 nanometer. Now, as far as the implementation is concerned, when we are implementing the design on the FPGA board, there are some resources which is utilized of the board. So what are those resources over here? Here the resources which are utilized is LUT, flip-flop, IO, and BUFF-G. So LUT is consumed over here is 198, flip-flop is 314, IO is 50, and BUFF-G, that is global buffer, is. Now this is about the ECC diagram. It is neither as ellipse nor as an oval, but a looping inside and intersecting two axes where curve is middle. This is how the ECC points. Now, when we are talking about the results, we are targeting the Kintex 7 FPGA board, and the IO standard which is used to optimize the power is HSTL. So ECC algorithm is using 0.080 watt dynamic power and 0.15 watt static power when we are using the HSTL 1 IO standard, as shown in figure 5 and table 6, which is in the next slide. Now, here we can see that the dynamic power consumption over here is 0.083, and the static power which is consumed over here is 0.115. As we compare as the total percentage, how much we are using, dynamic power consumes 42 and the static is using 58. Now here we can see that what are the different IO's power which are overused here. That is the clock power, signal power, logic power, and IO power. which our clock power is 0.022 watt, signal is 0.03 watt, logic power consumed over is 0.04 watt, IO power consumed is 0.05 watt. Now, when I conclude about that, there is no changes in the clock, logic, and signal power. The HSTL IO standard is valid. With the HSTL 1, 2, and 18 and 218, clock power, signals, and IO power is constant. That is 0.22 watt, 0.003 watt, and 0.04 watt. So we can say that whenever we are using the HSTL 1 IO standard, the power consumed is less. So HSTL 2 is using 218 is using 53.73 more power than the HSTL 1 IO standard. When I compared with this previous research, so in our research, the total power consumed is 0.128 watt, which is more than the previous result. But in previous research, the IO standard used is LV-CMOS IO standard. But that is a slow IO standard. But in our case, a little bit amount of power is getting more used, but the speed will be very fast. As far as the future scope is concerned, here we are implementing the ECC algorithm. In the same way, we can implement some other algorithms like RSA, TES, AES, Tofis algorithm. Apart from HSTL, there are different IO standards available on the FPGA, which we can also use to optimize the power, like LV-CMOS, SSTL, NVDCI, POD, and so on. So these are the references which I have used in the paper.
I thought you were not having those.
Thank you, Mr. Keshav Kumar, for your very interesting presentation. Dear colleagues, if there is any questions, please welcome. Yes, we have a question from offline participants.
Hello, may I ask one question? So as far as I understood, you suggesting an approach for deriving the private and public keys for encryption. So have you compared your approach to other existing standards of asymmetric cryptography?
No, in this work, we have not compared with the other asymmetric encryption. We have just compared with the different IO standards which are available on the FPGA. How the different IO standards are using different power, and how the IO standard which I am using is getting the power. Not with the other algorithm. In future, I can compare the ECC and RSA.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Things like this. Okay, guys.
Do I stop my screen?
Yeah.
I have.
So there is one more question.
The first of all, Mr. Keshav, thank you for your presentation.
Make sure everybody speaks.
Are you hear me?
Please, sorry, could you repeat that? The key dropped in the question. I'm a bit lost.
Надо выключить, а Кишава включить. Вы что? Sorry, Mr. Keshav Kumar, could you please turn on your microphone? There was one more question regarding your presentation.
Okay, right, you can please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keshav, for your presentation. You talked us about elliptic cryptography. It is asymmetric for encryption, some kind of a message. You use public key, and for decrypted this message, you said about use private key. I want ask you how you implement this elliptic curve algorithm in FPGA. You didn't explain, you show only the result.
So I just saw the result and the implementation output, right? So to implement the ECC on the FPGA, we require the Verilog code of the ECC algorithm or the VHDL code. Whenever we want to implement anything or any electronics things on the FPGA device, we have to write the code for the either in the VHDL language or in the Verilog language. These are the hardware description language. When we write the code, when we put all the inputs over there, define all the parameters over there, then we can do the implementation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Keshav Kumar, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Now we can turn on to our first presentation, paper ID number 85, by the authors Mirjan Baykuvekov from Al-Farabi Kazakh National University and Zeynel Mamunkulov from IITO. I can see that Mirjan Baykuvekov has joined. Mirjan, could you start your presentation, please?
Hello, dear listeners. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Is everything okay? Should I turn my video?
Yes, you need to turn on the camera.
Okay, thank you. Wait a minute. Can you see me?
Yeah, Mirjan, can I just like clarify? Are you going to present the paper ID 85, 88, and 89?
Yes, I hope so.
So the three papers would be presented by you, right, today?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then you will be presenting for all 30 minutes then.
Should I
No, like let's do a paper, let's start from paper ID 85 for the 7 minutes, and then I will ask you to turn on the paper ID 88, okay?
What about another papers between them? For example,
Because
86,
you didn't
87.
We asked you from the beginning to start, and like you wasn't online with us, and we needed to
Maybe,
save
yeah.
the timing, so we have asked other colleagues who was between you to start the presentation.
Okay, but I should have, may I have between the presentation 1 to 2 minutes, something like break, because I need to prepare presentations. I mean, I have to close my previous presentation and open it, and so
Yeah,
on.
it's all right. I mean, like you can do
Okay.
that. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, let's start from paper ID 85. Thank you.
Okay. Did you give me permission to share my screen? Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start. Wait a minute. Okay. Hello, dear listeners. The topic of my 85's article is development of a digital stethoscope system for detection of heart disease. My co-authors is Aida Baykuvekova and Daniel Sultan. I work on the Department of Information Systems in Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Almaty, Kazakhstan. The relevance of the work, a lot of time, cardiovascular diseases remain a significant global health burden. It means we had a lot of cardiovascular problems with some food, with increasing of food by worldwide and so on. Early and accurate detection of heart disease is a vital problem for initiating timely intervention and reducing the associated health risks. So the advent of the meaning of creating of digital stethoscope has offered a promising avenue for enhancing and the accuracy and efficiency of cardiac diagnostics. So in these works and our research works, we use phonocardiograms, which can capture acoustic signals from the heart, offer valuable insight into cardiac function. We use phonocardiograms to detect some cardiovascular diseases and so on. Excuse me. The purpose and objectives of the study with cardiovascular disease remaining a leading cause of global morbidity and mortality, the need of accurate and timely cardiac diagnostics is paramount. So the core components of the system, including phonocardiogram, signal acquisition, and an advanced analog front end, a robust microcontroller, and sophisticated machine learning algorithms are meticulously designed and evaluated. So also in this work, we prepared data. Yeah, as you can see here, you can read extensive data preparation, model training, and rigorous testing undertaken to the assess and system diagnosis capabilities. So we included in our work. We separated our work for three types. For three times. Where we used for the first part, it is something like review article. Next one, it will be the results of our machine learning and deep learning algorithms. So as you can see here, we are talking about attributes. Yeah, attributes of cardiac oscillation sounds is the characteristics. I will not say everything from this slide. As you can see, S1 is a lap sound that marks the closure of atrioventricular valves. Yeah, it means it controls waves from the heart disease. Yeah, and you can see some let's say different sounds rather than regular sounds. S2 is often referred as a DAP sound, represents the closure and semilunar valves and the onset of ventricular diastole. This sound is of higher frequency and is most prominent at the base of the heart. So, proposed stethoscope. The proposed digital stethoscope is designed as a comprehensive medical device which can use specialists to be more accurate in their work, and of course, it can be used to it can be used to upgrade the skills of professors. Specialists, yeah, cardiovascular specialists. So here you can see the demonstration of the structure of proposed digital stethoscope. For the first, the phonographic signals are taken to our analog front end, and at this stage, at the analog front end stage, we have two processes which called pre-amplifier and active BP filter. This is used for cleaning data and preparing data to analysis. And second, third step is Arduino microcontroller. We used Arduino microcontroller to prepare our, to process our audio signals, which we taken from stethoscope, and prepare it to classification and using machine learning and deep learning algorithms. In this proposed model, in this slide, you can see all the processes, of proposed digital stethoscope structure. For the first, that sort of part sounds are taken. Then data preparation stage starts. It consumes three steps, which calls data filtering, segmentation, and feature extraction. In this main stage, we use these models, these functions, to clear our data and prepare it for training to machine learning and deep learning algorithms. After that, we go to training step, where we train our model, validate our model, and train. You look for evaluation of our models. For the validation and model training, we used 80 70 to 20 and 10%. It means that 70% of data used for training, 20% of them used for testing, and 10% of them used for validation. And the last step is extract the model.
Yeah, 1 minute left.
Okay, extract the model classification and decision making, which is called that we can get some decisions from our topic. Experiment results. As you can see, this is the look. This is how our stethoscope is looked, and it works as a simple stethoscope, but use digital technologies inside. So in this case, in this slide, you can see the the results of our analytics, and you can see some anomaly in these 3 steps, in these 3 slides, and that's it says that it says cardiac acoustic patterns. Each of them has own patterns. Yeah, normal spectrogram, for example, normal spectrogram, and extra spectrogram. So in conclusion, I want to say that the research paper has presented a comprehensive exploration of the development of a digital stethoscope system for the detection of heart diseases, utilizing machine learning techniques on phonocardiograms. I guess that's all. Thank you for your attention, and if you have some questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you. Can I just clarify? So the authors of this paper are. Could you please go for the first page? Because like I think we are having some mistakes in the program. Yeah, because like
Which type of mistakes?
in the program we also have another author, Zeniel Mamankulov. Is that correct?
I guess I forgot it to add it to the presentation as a last member.
And if I'm not mistaken, you are Daniar Sultan, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Daniar, for your presentation. Dear colleagues, is there any questions? Yes, we have one question.
Do you have plans to use your device in the real life? Have you talked to any doctors?
Thank you for the question. Yes, of
Therapists?
course. Yeah, yes, of course. We talked with several medical centers about using our creation, in their centers. But nowadays the process is only for some talking stage, because we want to describe them how to use this tool to upgrade their skills. But in the future, we want to use this stethoscope system in every medical center, which can be which can be better for clients, and also can be better for our specialists.
One more question. Can you explain, please, the practical value of your device? Because this device is going to be used by therapists, by educated doctors.
Okay.
And
Again,
I think they are qualified enough to interpret the sound that they hear by themselves
very good
without
question.
using additional devices.
Thank you. Very good question. Even if the specialist is specialized doctor, for example, it can take some mistakes in his diagnosis and so on. We see it in our practical life. So this device has two opportunities. First one is time. Its diagnosis goes very fast. Yeah, for example, if for the specialized doctor which learned for cardiovascular diseases, yeah, about 5 to 10 years, this model can be trained at least for 2 3 hours. It depends on the size of data. Second is clarification. We talked about that we are working on the again we are working on the let's say on upgrading algorithm, and every step we used and we edit our model to be to make it even better. So it can work very fast, more rather than people, and it can work more clear than the again human doctor.
Thank you, Aysin.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for your presentation. We are turning for the next paper. In this paper has to be presented either by Mirjan Baygovekov or Spandiar Abdutalib. Can you ask please your colleagues to join? He left. While paper 88 and 89 is joining, I think we can turn on to the next paper. Paper ID 187, the role of learning analytics in assessing the effectiveness of blended education, a case study of Astana IT University, presented by 4 authors, Maral, Aidana, Yarmek, and Yenlik from Astana IT University. Authors are here, so please, you can start. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and the participants of today's presentation. So yes, the topic of our today's presentation and the research is the role of learning analytics in assessing the Мы на сайт загрузили. И мы отправили, да. Перед сессией. Ему передали перед сессией, как зашли. А на сайт загрузили, ну, рано. Да, рано загрузили.
Just a few minutes before the presentation will start. for the delay. We are still in the process of making our presentation to be demonstrated. Just a few seconds, please. Look, you can start.
I will start. Okay, so the topic of our presentation is the role of learning analytics in assessing the effectiveness of blended education, the case study of our university, Astana IT University. And this is actually was the role of our research to analyze the effectiveness of blended learning by using the learning analytics data. This study is preliminary and we focuses only on main four social humanitarian disciplines like political science, cultural studies, psychology and sociology. And on one hand, that could be seen as limitations for our research. And in order to overcome those limitations, the future research are planned also, to compare the data, learning analytics data, covering the more broad choice of disciplines. The choice of disciplines actually can be described and determined by several factors. First of all, social humanitarian disciplines are studied by all students at this university. That is why we were able to get data, learning analytics data, taking into account the general academic performance of all students at this university, regardless of their major, specialty, and so on. And also the social humanitarian disciplines, they are not the priority at this university because the university focuses on IT sphere. That is why the motivation for students to study those subjects are not high as for the subjects, specified subjects. That is why we decided to check the general effectiveness. So the two main research questions put forward in the research, the first one is the comparison between the academic performance of social humanitarian disciplines during the traditional format of education and blended format of education. Our university has moved to blended learning education recently, just a few years ago. And that's why we made the comparison between the two types, the two forms of education. And we looked for the general average of academic performance between students for those four social humanitarian disciplines. And the second research question was to, can you move to the second slide, please? Was about the connection between the frequency and length of students' interactions on online lecture materials on the Learn platform and the overall level of academic achievement. So when it comes to methodology, please next slide. We use several methods in order to get the data and analyze them. The first one was to extract data, learning analytics data from two main platforms, which is Learn Open platform and Moodle platform. And the second one was to conduct a survey, sociological survey among first-year students at this university, to see their perceptions about the attitude towards blended learning education, which format is the best one, what are the advantages of each of blended learning education actually in studying in social humanitarian disciplines. So the first system, the Learn platform, the data extracted from the Learn platform provides data on students' interaction, the frequency of viewing online material on the platform, the duration of their watching period, their login, logout periods, and so on and so forth. and other data also. So can you move to the next slide, please? Here you can see on this slide the comparative analysis between the two forms of education, the traditional and blended education. As you can see on the slide, in 2021, there were mainly traditional face-to-face education when students studied those 4 subjects, being physical at classroom. And almost all of these subjects transferred to blended type of education in 2022, except of sociology. In 2020, we didn't get this data because at that period of time, it was a COVID period and all subjects were studied online. That is why we didn't took that into consideration for the analysis. So we compared those academic performances with the general results, taking the data, learning analytics data from the Moodle through tracing log. We analyzed the data. And as you can see on the slide, we tried to figure out whether there is a difference between the achievements and the performance during 2 types of educational system. And it is not as obvious as it could be seen at the beginning of our research. Here on this slide, you can see the grade dynamics between those 4 subjects. And at one point, some of those subjects showed us the decreased number of academic performance during the blended learning education. And we found out that lots of other key factors should be taken into account in order to see why there is a shift between the results during the blended and traditional forms of education, such as the number of students participating in traditional education and blended learning education is highly different. In 2023, for instance, in political science, the number of students attending the class was much more higher than during the traditional education. Also, another key factor that we didn't analyze at this research was the teaching staff who educated during these 4 subjects, because even the grading policy had been changed during these years. That could also affect the results of our survey. Okay, so can you move to the next slide, please? The next slide showed us before that. Thanks. This is the results of survey among students. 350 students were asked, reviewed, and the majority of them showed that they support more blended learning education rather than 2 ones, but still there are lots of percentage, a lot of students who still prefer online or traditional face-to-face education in studying social humanitarian disciplines. Another questions asked by our survey was about the advantages of blended education, and it was also not so obvious and not so clear that blended education is the best one, because there were still lots of students who prefer to communicate at the university, and that it is more convenient for them to get knowledges. Please, next slide. And this slide, we tried to answer for the research question number 2 in order to see the interaction between grades and participation of students or during the online platform, studying the lectures online. And you can see that, for instance, for political science, there is a correlation by Pearson correlation. The more they interact with the material, online material, the duration of watching those lectures resulted in higher grades. But for other subjects, it was also not so clear. And for instance, sociology, this interaction was not high enough. And you can see that on the next slide, on the next table, that shows us, for instance, that here the Pearson correlation can be seen in political science, but for sociology, there is almost irrelevant numbers for the traditional or for blended learning, I mean, for the frequency and continuation of their watching. For psychology and cultural studies, it is also not so visible, the correlation between them. So, and the last 2 slides, can you move please to the next slide? This is the linear regression model that we try to predict how the grades can be changed according to the number of interactions of students. And please let me provide the possibility to my colleague to present this particular formula, because he is more dedicated to that.
Thank you. Linear regression model is well known in machine learning and statistics and we apply it to our data. There is a y is grades, and x is interactions, and you see the another coefficients here. Next slide, please. The relevance of applying regression, linear regression model is like that in the table, and we see that here R squared coefficient of determination is low, and it means that there is no linear relationship between grades and interactions, and we can use, for example, intercept as an indication that maybe quiz and problems in the subject is very maybe very easy if the value of the intercept above 50, because it's it means that you cannot interact with this with the video and content. Can you switch back to, please, to the previous table? Amir. Предыдущий. Previous slide. And we can use this kind of data to analyze how effective the learning materials in the blended learning, and what should we change to improve the course material. Thank you.
It's very interesting case study. It's really interesting to know that there is such analysis you have done for your humanitarian courses. I have just one question. Do you please define the term? How do you determine it, that the blended learning? Because like in specific cases, it is different types of the blended learning. What is your scheme of blended learning?
Okay, thanks for the question. Yes, there is a literature review regarding the blended learning in the paper. We focused on the mix of face-to-face education with the online asynchronous lectures that we do have in our university. And this is the way how we understood blended learning, the mix of online education with the face-to-face education for the same subject.
So like how many % of your courses are online? I mean, let's consider the political science, and then within that political science, how many % are online, and then in the traditional?
Actually, nowadays, all our courses of political science, sociology, psychology, cultural studies, they are blended, because like all lectures are online and all practices are face-to-face. So there is a mix for all of these subjects starting from 2022. And the university is moving to blended learning starting from 2021 for these subjects specifically.
So as I understood, all lectures are online, and this is the same teacher who is conducting the lectures and then the seminars, right?
Yes, for political science, which we are the professor for political science, we recorded the video for our class for political science. 3 teachers recorded the video, and all 3 of us are giving practical sessions. So we are giving online education and blended learning at the same time.
In one more question about you said you were trying to predict the future, their grades, right? So is there any kind of a expectation about the future? Is that going to be the same or going down? What's the result of that prediction? I think I didn't maybe got it from this.
Yes, as we saw from the analysis of learning analytics, there was no so big difference between students, I mean, the academic performance, the achievements during the face-to-face education and with the blended learning. So the number of interactions of online lectures didn't significantly result. Yes, there is a correlation. There is some changes in the grades that the more they watch videos, online lectures, the higher grades they get. But we predicted that the number will be more significant than they are now. And we think that it is because of different factors that should be taken into account in our future researches that we didn't consider now in this preliminary research.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, any other questions? Maybe colleagues who are online? If there's no question, so thank you, colleagues, for your very interesting analysis. This is a really good case that maybe other universities can also adopt. And we can turn on to our next paper. Can you please go to the Zoom? I wanted to check the participants. We're turning to paper ID 222, presented by Ayrailum Tuleubaeva, Astana IT University, Alina Mitroshna from Astana IT University, Alpar Arman, Arslan Shokan, both from Astana IT, and Sheikhanova Aygul from Gumilyov Eurasian National University. The paper topic is systematic approach to optimizing natural language processing technologies in Astana IT University's admission process. Colleagues, please, you can start. Alina? Or Arslan Shokan? Dear colleagues, you can start your presentations.
Прошу прощения.
Alina or Arslan Shokan? Dear colleagues? We are asking paper ID 222. Alina or Arslan Shokan, could you please present your speech? I can see from the participants' leads that Mirjan Baykovekov has rejoined us. So can I ask you, Mirjan, to present your papers? Can you please start your presentations? Baykovekov Mirjan, paper ID 88 and 89. Dear colleagues, this is just a kind reminder. If there is no presentations, if there is no real-time presentation that we are asking to do so, we cannot proceed with the final proceedings. So which it means your paper will not be published if you won't do the presentation. So, Alina or Arslan Shokan? Let's just wait for a few minutes. Maybe colleagues will join.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to understand how to share documents in Zoom.
Yeah, sure. Arslan Shokan, are you okay? Can you start? Maybe you can go. You can proceed with the presentation part. Shokan?
Oh, yeah. Trying to see. Where is it? Oh, yeah, I found it. Can you see it?
Can see your presentation, but I'm asking you to turn on the camera, please.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Did you turn on the camera?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, thank you. So please, you can start. Thank you.
So the topic of our presentation is systemic approach to optimizing NLP technologies in Nice University admission process. So here's the abstract. So right now, due to increased usage of technologies, we decided that it will be more efficient to develop a systemic approach in admission process. So it will increase efficiency, reduce several inefficiency in the process. So where's it? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Shokan, can I just like say that we have 7 minutes for each presentation?
Yeah. So in Science University, we developed an application, a to admission advisor for desktop, for Android, and also developed natural language processing model that innovate our system using conversation methods, and it will give several opportunities for everyone. So purpose of our work. So work is study, explore how AI and NLP can improve and leverage admission process. So it will become efficient and user-friendly and meet needs of applicants and administrations and admission committee. So we studied several papers based previously on AI and development. So next, our aim is to study, design, and refine a to admission advisor. So virtual assistant. So we use machine learning and natural language processing. Our model replies in real time efficiently to every applicant in several chats. And the following objective is to develop a user interface, which we developed using Kotlin platform, comprehensive system architecture that we used several architectural patterns and methods during our work. So system architecture, so several layers, the security layers, user interaction layers, machine learning algorithms, NLP, and feedback mechanism. Next, there is following architecture that how our models work with each other. So we have the security that checks and secures our data, user interactions, meaning our presentation layer of our applications for our user to communicate with our applications. Also, it can communicate with a server, which can communicate in with our NLP engine and process our data. So because of the following architectures, our application is scalable and can receive other methods. So from mathematical standpoint, there are several algorithms that are used, decision trees, neural networks, NLP, and edit distance algorithm. It's used dynamic programming method. So the following is a formula that we use in programming methods to calculate the minimum distance or minimum Levenshtein distance described by like this following formula. So there is a reconciliation where our initial condition when one of our inputs are zeros, the following non-zero argument is returned. So the time complexity is all of m times n, where m and n is the length of the string. So it basically finds the most optimal way to find the next string. So as a result, we developed an application for desktop and mobile with user-friendly design and advanced system metrics. So it has high precision, can successfully identify approximately 74.4% relevant data. So F1 score is 83%, and it has high accuracy at 87.06%, and zero satisfactions, according to our survey, is 4.8 out of 5. So the following our data. So you can see our precision, recall, and all the data. It would be interesting. And the following our loss functions that we trained our model. So in conclusion, the IS-19 University Admission Advisor system encapsulates the advanced value can bring to education administration. It offers a model for leveraging technology to improve efficiency, diversification, adaptivity of algorithm settings. So I believe this technology can be used in both academic environment and can grow bigger to use in other universities. So here's our references.
Thank you, Shofan, for your presentation. Dear colleagues, if there is any questions regarding to the paper. Yeah, one question we have.
Thank you. Can you tell me what is the result of your study? Is there any product, chatbot or something?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat?
What is the result of your study? Did you develop some chatbot or something that you used in the process of admission?
Well, the purpose of our application is to analyze, first of all, how AI and NLP can be used in this such particular environment. So engineering idea is quite secondary to this particular task, particular paper.
Is there any chatbot or something that can answer
Yes,
questions?
from engineering perspective, yes. But can
you demonstrate it?
I can demonstrate it, but
thank you.
But after this presentation, if you need it. It's available on Telegram, on desktop. I can send you executable file. You can upload it to your PC, or I can send you APK, so you port to your Android phone. That's okay.
But not now.
Not right now.
Okay. I don't have question.
Thank you, Shofan, again. I have one question. So you were saying the purpose of your study is actually making the admission process more effective, right? More efficient. And how did you measure that efficiency?
According to our surveys, and it's also the following metrics: accuracy, F1 score, recall, and precision, according to our model.
So this is like some kind of a method which you use to measure that efficiency, or this is a, as you said, survey?
For user satisfaction, it's survey. For accuracy, it's a method.
And can you please explain the accuracy point a bit in a detail?
Well, we used testing data to test our neural network on several inputs and outputs.
And how many data you had?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't really remember. It's a lot.
Is that only the study? Is it only like for the last year of admission process, or like you've included previous years as well?
We actually developed it last year, the following system, and incorporated it and tested.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Very interesting, again, case study. I think this is also can be adopted in other universities, I believe. I mean, at least for me, that was interesting. Thank you, Shohan.
Thank you.
So let's just double check about the participants who are joining online, because before we go to the coffee break, we are expecting 2 more papers. So this is a paper ID number 88 and paper ID number 89. So if the authors of these papers are here, please, you can start. If no, we will be going for the break and then we'll be back. I think we can still stay in the connection for 7 minutes before our break. And then if the colleagues will be joining, they will just maybe let us know, but we will be waiting. Thank you everyone who are here, participated offline, and again, who were with us in online. And can we please also double check the chat, please? Yeah, that was the previous from the Keshav Kumar who already did his presentation. Yeah, okay, thank you. Should we move our presentations up, or I think we have like 5 minutes, so we can, I think we will left all the presentation for the part 2 after we be back from the coffee break. Thank you all. So we are pausing now our session. Dear colleagues, we are back after the coffee break, so we can proceed further with our presentations, which are set for the afternoon part. And we are starting from the paper ID 246 by Maria Utarbaeva and Makpal Mukanova, Nazarbayev Intellectual School. Please, colleagues, you can start your presentations.
Hello everybody. Today I will present our work on topic integrated computer network security system, intrusion detection and threat prediction using machine learning algorithms. The authors of this work are Maria Utarbaeva and Makpal Mukanova. So as introduction, let's talk about intrusion detection system with algorithms. So intrusion detection system, also known as IDS, monitors network traffic and alerts administrators when suspicious behavior is detected. So main detection methods of IDS are signature-based methods that identify attacks by analyzing specific patterns in network traffic or in known sequences. And anomaly-based method uses machine learning algorithms to create activity models and detect deviations from normal behavior. So the main types of IDS are host-based IDS and network-based IDS. So the most main Python libraries that was implemented in this work are NumPy, that used for multi-dimensional arrays, Pandas data science library, Warning, Matplotlib, Seaborn, TensorFlow, Keras, HBoost, PCA, and other algorithmic libraries. So let's talk about the dataset that was implemented here. In this research, we used NCLKD dataset taken from the CM as Security Information and Event Management System, and containing 43 columns and 125,000 rows. So the full data set, including attack types, level, and difficulty level, is presented in text format. So there are no redundant records in the training set and no duplicates in the test training set. Here you can see the types of this attack that consist of this research and how they deviated in this data set. So methodology that was used in this research is a proportionate data that consists of like cleaning, transforming, and standardizing data that used for further steps. The B step is principal component analysis. That is technique to convert high-dimensional data to low-dimensional data. And modeling consists of training of the machine learning algorithms. Here you can see all models that we train. The first is logistic regression that employed for classification, predictive analytics, nearest neighbors. It's non-parametric classifier that using for proximity to make classifications and predictions. Naive-based is fundamental probability technique that assess the probability of classifying or predict the cyber attack. And super vector machines is a statistical model that employed for classification predictive analytics. And also we employ some ensemble models such as decision tree, random forest that was in like tree structure, and XGBoost regressor for that supervise this algorithms, yes. And also we employ artificial neural networks that using training data set to improve accuracy through iterative processes. And here you can see the results that we obtained according to our survey. So this result represents according to the train and test data set, and was used according to 3 metrics such as accuracy, precision, and recall. So the accuracy is like general indicator how often model correctly classifies data. Precision is this indicator reflects how accurately the model predicts positive classes, and recall is the measure according to the real world attacks. So you can see the decision tree classifiers and random forest classifier such as considered like ensemble models with PCA random forest that considered as optimized random forest demonstrates the most the highest metrics according to 3 metrics, and such as in train and test data sets. And we can make like a result conclusion that random forest and PCA random forest have proven very effective on all 3 metrics, such as train, accuracy, recall, and precision, and in terms of train-based data set. And decision tree model that considers also ensemble models demonstrate also highest results. However, logistic regression, k-nearest neighbor classifier, Gaussian, and linear SVC performed well, but their performance slightly lower than the ensemble models. So the conclusion of this study that such as by integrating this results in terms of cybersecurity strategies and result into academic courses, it may be very useful for educators to demonstrate to students the results that obtained from the algorithms in terms of cybersecurity. And as in this research, we developed and trained model on Python programming languages that use datasets from the CM system. This result very can be new technologies in the cybersecurity landscape. And also the work improves cybersecurity by offering a quick and precise way to assess risk and take appropriate action. And in conclusion, like multi-layered approaches already said to data analysis and classification cybersecurity is provided by the collaboration of neural networks and conventional machine learning algorithms. And in general, this work enhances cybersecurity by providing fast and accurate means for analyzing and responding to threats. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Maria, for presentation. Let's move on to the Q&A session. If there is anyone who would like to ask a question, participants online and offline can join for the Q&A session. Yes, we have one question here.
Hello, I'd like to ask one question. So, can you a little bit explain in more detail the training process? So, the data that you had, how many items or rows you had, and how did you
So you can
the
see that
data that you obtained into training and test domains, and how many epochs did you have to train your data?
So as you can see that in terms of training our models, we use data sets for security information and event management, and that contain 43 columns and 971 rows. And this data set includes like test and train data that has no redundancy, and it's very like useful and effective to train our models. The effectiveness of this data set proved by the modeling and the result. And in this research, we make and according to the epochs, there was 13 epochs, and in further we would like to improve this onto this type by we will increase our epochs in this research. But the main that you should note here is that here the data set that consists of such as train and test data and taken from the CM that consists and gather all cyber threats and cyber attacks in the network traffic.
So this is your future plan to increase the number of epochs, right?
Yes, you're right.
Thank you.
Oh, one more question. I just wanted to clarify, maybe I missed in the presentation, what's the application of your system? Whether that system is going to be used, or is there any kind of a further developments where you would like to test your proposed model?
Yeah, sure. Our future plans, according to this research, is make some real-time detection of cyber attacks. But currently, this model and these models was not employed yet. But in further plan, we will make real-time cyber attack detection, and of course, we will employ this in current system. These models in current systems.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Maqpal, for your presentations.
Thank you for your attention.
We can turn on to our next paper. This is paper ID number 264 by Olga Vilenkova from Kyiv National University of Construction and Architecture, Ukraine, and her co-authors. Dear colleagues, you can start your presentations. Yeah. So I think that our authors didn't join yet. Let us just double check who are here. So I can see from the list of participants, the paper ID 272 are here. Galina Fizienko, right? So you are with your co-authors are presenting the paper STEAM Education in Poland and Ukraine, exploring the contextual data of the GGG index. Dear Galina, you can start your presentation. Thank you.
Do you see my presentation? Yes. Dear all, our research is dedicated on the issues of STEM development as part of sustainable development concept. It relates to achieving gender equality. As we know, acronym STEM is an umbrella term for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which used in the context of education policy. We consider STEM by focusing on the Global Gender Gap Index. The World Economic Forum developed this index in 2006. It assesses countries on how well they are dividing their resources and opportunities among their male and female populations. The report's gender gap index ranks countries according to calculated gender gap between women and men in 4 key areas: health, education, economy, and politics, to gauge the state of gender equality in a country. In particular, economic participation and opportunity means outcomes on salaries, participation levels, and access to higher skilled employment. Educational attainment outcomes on access to basic and higher level education. There is an evident correlation between the economic sphere and education. It has implications for workforce development, national security concerns, as shortage of STEM-educated citizens can reduce effectiveness in their area, and economic policy with regard to admitting tech workers. In general, the education must provide a basis for adaptation, development, and acquisition of new competencies throughout life. In the area of education, the gender index is applied to such data: literacy rate and enrollment in primary, secondary, and tertiary education. The weights of sub-indicators are different. The Global Gender Gap Report allows for a comparative analysis of indicators and sub-indicators of different countries, regions, as well as comparison with global indicators. We think it's important to compare Ukraine and Poland. Such analysis showed high rates for both countries and in relation to the Eastern European region. However, such a simple comparison does not make it possible to see the reasons for gender inequality in the field of employment. That is why GGG index is constantly evolving and contextual indicators for assessing education are changing. Thus, from 2006, the gender assessment under education and training included indicators on the proportion of female teachers in primary, secondary, and tertiary education. The problem of feminization of the teaching profession become more visible. For example, in Ukraine, the percentage of female teachers in education was 99%. In 2011, the gender assessment of education supplemented with 2 indicators: female and male school life. This highlights a gender asymmetry educational employment sector with predominantly male teachers and researchers in higher education. In 2013, the contextual assessment of education attainment included 4 new educators that correlate with STEM skills, such as internet and mobile telephone users. Unfortunately, Ukraine has no data on these indicators. In the report for 2014, the education assessment no longer included the difference between women's and men's life expectancy in school, as well as data on primary, secondary, and high school teachers. It's noteworthy that in 2014, there were twice as many internet users in Ukraine as in Poland. A new vision of education assessment is defined in the science, technology, and research parameters by applying not only indicators concerning internet users. It also included percentage of female to male students in STEM higher educations, STEM PhD graduates, and percentage of female to male among research and development personnel in STEM. The comparative analysis we have carried out has shown a smaller gender gap in the Polish education system than in Ukraine. At the same time, there is a visible gender difference between countries in terms of those who were unable to complete their STEM education. In Poland, there are more men among them, and in Ukraine, there are more women. In the report for 2015, new contextual data of education and technology were introduced as follows: adult education seekers, age 25 plus. The data on the low level of tertiary education are remarkable. In Poland, data on this category, 25% of women and 20% of men.
Dear Galina, sorry, but we have a timing for 7 minutes, please.
Ah, sorry.
Thank you. We have already reached 7 minutes, please.
Okay, to summarize, we would like to say that the assessment for gender gaps in education is very helpful for understanding both the current situation in STEM education and for reflecting on the problems of the STEM sector development as a whole. It's important for foster industry, smart manufacturing, and the realization of the digital transformation of the field for enhanced productivity and flexibility of way companies manufacture. The results of comparative analysis show that Poland and Ukraine have higher achievements in ensuring equal access for women and men to education and in general. However, there is still a gender gap in STEM education, and it's bigger in Ukraine than in Poland. Thank you for your attention. That's all information.
Thank you, dear Galina. There was a lot of information, a lot of analysis you have presented in your work. Thank you for this. We can now turn on to the question session. Dear colleagues, please, is there any questions to our presenter?
Sure.
So if there is no questions from online, let me ask one question. How do you think what will be the future implication of your work?
It's question for me. It's
Yes. Question for you. The future implication of the work that you have done, whether you will be using it or maybe what kind of employment you plan to do in a further works.
We see the program in progress in STEM education in European region and other regions. And I hope that this trend with will continue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining. We can turn to our next presenter. So I'm inviting paper ID 264. We have 6 co-authors, and I believe Mr. Abhay Aran will be presenting the paper. Please, Mr. Abhay Aran, you can start the presentation.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, there was some technical issues. Let me.
Sorry, but it's a bit difficult to hear you.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, maybe the microphone a bit closer.
One moment. Is
Yeah,
it okay
now it's
now?
good.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let me present our article. First of all, let me share. Can I share here? The
access to
presentation?
share, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Can you see?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, great.
perfect. You can start.
Thank you. Let me present our article, Institutional Measurement of Structural Characteristics of Residential Real Estate Markets Using the Method of Cluster Analysis. The authors are below. First of all, several methods, including statistical analysis, machine learning algorithms, and geospatial methods can be used to solve the classification of the institutional development of the regions of Ukraine. Among these methods, cluster analysis stands out as a powerful tool for grouping regions based on similarities in institutional characteristics. Geospatial analysis involves the integration of geographic information systems, remote sensing, and spatial statistics to analyze spatial patterns and relationships. Geospatial methods can be used to visualize and analyze the spatial distribution of indicators of institutional development, identify clusters of regions with similar characteristics, and estimate spatial autocorrelation. Cluster analysis is an unsupervised learning technique, meaning no labeled data is required for training. Instead, it groups regions based on similarities in the institutional profiles, allowing the identification of patterns and structures in the data without prior knowledge of the class labels. Several methods, including statistical analysis, machine learning algorithms, and geospatial methods can be used to solve the classification of the institutional development of the regions of Ukraine. Cluster analysis, as I said, I'm sorry. The object of the study is the methods of solving the task of classifying the regions of Ukraine according to the level of institutional development. The subject of our study is cluster analysis as a tool for the classifications of regions. The Analyze toolkit is not new, but it allows to improve methodical approaches to the classification of regions according to the level of institutional development. Hypothesis, which is the development of residential real estate markets, depends on the level of institutional development, and the regional markets themselves can be classified according to various parameters that describe the institutional environment. This will allow the developer to choose a reasonable competitive policy in accordance with the development of each individual market. The assessment of the institutional support of individual markets was carried out according to indicators that directly or indirectly show the speed of institutional transformations of individual market, such as the number of cities that have received authority or are about control, the introduction of elders institutes, as you can see on the slide, the development of institutional infrastructure, and the number of public-private partnership projects. The basics of the calculation is data on the socio-economic development of markets by the level of institutional development. In order to carry out the classification and evaluation of 23 primary housing markets of Ukraine was carried out, which are proposed to be considered within the boundaries of the regions and the city of Kyiv. As you can see, Donetsk and the Lugansk regions are excluded from the study, and Crimea as data on real estate markets as a result of hostilities containing complete distorted information or access to such information is generally closed. All data were normalized. As you can see from the slide, the first cluster is Kyiv and Mykolaiv regions and the city of Kyiv. The regions are characterized by a fairly large number of implementation of public-private partnership projects and balanced development of other indicators. The second cluster is Dnipropetrovsk, Ternopil, Khmelnytsky, Zakarpattia, Zaporizhia, Lviv, and Odessa regions. These regions are characterized by high indicators of institutional development. The third cluster is a Sumy region, which has rather low indicators of institutional development, but has a large number of institutional infrastructure facilities. The fourth cluster is all other regions, which has a low level of institutional development, and that weren't included in the previous clusters. The simplest method is used for software implementation of the algorithm clustering in the classical implementation is the K-means method. This method belongs to the group of iterative methods of cluster analysis. The method requires determining in advance the number of clusters on which they will be distributed data. It divides the set of elements into a predetermined number of clusters. Action of the algorithm aimed at the fact that it seeks to minimize the root mean square deviation of the points of each cluster. The distance between its parameters and the centroid, which is proposed to be found as a Euclidean distance. The main task of this method is a minimization of the sum of the squared deviations of cluster points from the center of these clusters, is described by the following formula, as you can see on the slide number 8.
Karin, we are very limited in timing, so 7
Oh.
minutes for each presentations.
Okay, I see. Okay, I must finish, right?
Yeah, like
Okay,
not like finishing right now, but like going to the finish.
all right, I see it. Thank you. Okay, we can go to the conclusion, I guess. In general, the use of cluster analysis to determine the level of institutional development of the regions of Ukraine is appropriate. It will also help to identify the factors underlying institutional development, as cluster analysis provides results that can be easily interpreted, as regions within the same cluster share common characteristics. This makes the findings easier to understand and interpret, facilitating informed decision-making and policy formulation. Institutional measurement of the structural characteristics of residential real estate markets through cluster analysis provides valuable information about market dynamics, providing stakeholders with a systematic approach to understanding market complexity. Methodological delicacy, data limitations, interpretation problems, the dynamic nature of markets, and the complexity of institutional factors create problems for the validity and reliability of cluster analysis results. However, by recognizing these limitations and taking steps to address them, stakeholders can maximize the utility of cluster analysis in informing strategies for the sustainable growth and development of residential real estate markets. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
Thank you, Mr. Abai. It was very informative presentation. I have 2 questions for you. The first one, so as I can see, you conducted the research among the regions of Ukraine, right? And can actually this approach be used, for example, for cities or towns or villages?
Thank you for your question. Yes, of course. In this study, markets considered the boundaries of individual regions of Ukraine, but the specified methodology that we used can be applied not only at the level of regions, but also for individual, like you said, cities, towns, villages, or even their districts. In order to evaluate the level of market development, we used the approach of geospatial marketing, as I said before, which allowed us to access the level of development of residential and commercial construction and business activity.
Okay, yeah. And my second question is, so we see that you chose the cluster analysis as the main research method, right? Could you tell us how useful and reliable was it, like, to fulfill the goals of your research?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, like any research method, cluster analysis, of course, has its pros and cons. For example, in accordance to the cluster analysis, there are some cons like data limitations, interpretation problems, the dynamic nature of markets is changing, the complexity of institutional factors, and all these factors create challenges to ensure the reliability of cluster analysis results. However, recognizing these problems and limitations, we are always taking steps to address them. Stakeholders can maximize the usefulness of cluster analysis in shaping strategies for sustainable growth and development of residential real estate markets. Cluster analysis is a valuable tool for analyzing the market structures, but it must be used very carefully and complemented by other analytical approaches to achieve a thorough understanding of the institutional dynamics of, in our case, residential real estate market.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Let's,
have a good day.
Yeah, thank you, you too. Let's check how many participants in online. So, and then we can proceed with our next paper. Can we please check the participants? Let's check with Ayolam first.
Yes.
Ayolam, hello. Are you ready for the presentation? The paper ID number 270. Yeah? Are you ready? Ayolam?
Yes, I'm ready. Yes.
If you are ready, I'm kindly asking to start the presentation. Ayolam, while you are demonstrating your screen, this is just a quick reminder that I was saying in the beginning. Maybe some of you have missed it. We are limited in timing for each presentation, 7 minutes for the presenter, and then about 3 minutes for Q&A session. So please keep the timing.
Oh, yes, I'm here. Sorry for the bad internet. Yes, I just demonstrate my ecran.
Yeah, you need to share your screen, please.
My screen, yes. Do you
Yeah,
see?
so Ayolam, we see, we can hear, you can go ahead. 7 minutes, please. Thank you.
Okay, my topic article topic name user neural network is a prediction of environment process. Author's name is Katerina Kolesnikova, Liazet Nazabayeva, Ilona Zabayeva, Rostislav Lesnevsky, University, the International Information Technology University, Department of Information System and Cybersecurity International, City Almaty. Next, the purpose of the study is to enhance the prediction accuracy of daily CO2 levels using advanced neural network models with the objective of effectively utilizing long short-term LSTM and some simple RNN architectures. The next objectives, the first, develop a predictive model to create a neural network model capable of accurately predicting daily CO2 emissions using LSTM and simple RNN architecture. Next, optimize model parameters. This to fine-tune the learning rate and other relevant parameters in the model to optimize its performance, particularly focusing on minimizing bias and variance. Next, enhance model efficiency is to enhance the efficiency and reliability of the model in processing and learning from time series data, ensuring it can effectively handle the dynamic nature and environment data. Next is validate model performance and conduct rigorous testing and historical data to validate the model accuracy and its generalization of two new data sets. Last, contribute to environmental monitoring, provide a predictive tool to support environmental monitoring and persuade policy makers in decision making based on
based on CO2 levels forecast. Next is like raw data set with null values. It is the main aim is to create a neural network model that can accurately predict daily level of CO2 using data from open source. Open source data set containing pollutions like CO2, PM10, NO2, SO2, and CO. Keras on open source neural network library in Python is employed for building and rendering models due to it is a convenient tools for handling different types of data. Additional libraries is Panda and NumPy. Next, this is the result of min-max scalar algorithm for scaling the original dataset. Focus on dealing with numerous null values in the dataset to ensure data quality and reliability. This implementation on recurrent neural network RNNs to handle data sequences with specific focus on overcoming challenges like the vanishing gradient problem using long short-term memory LSTM models. Next, this is the result of the first LSTM model. The model performance is quantified as thought mean square errors. This is with an initial loss value reported as nav 0.161. This next is visualization of predictions by the LSTM model. Next, this is this fragment of the second LSTM RNN model training process. To improve upon the initial model, a stacked LSTM RNN model is implemented. This advanced model includes multiple LSTM layers to handle more complex data abstraction and temporal variation. The return sequences parameters utilized in Keras to ensure that each LSTM layer can pass on relevant information to subsequent layers, enhancing to depths of learning. A lower mean square error of NAFT point 101.33. Yes. Next is fragment of the simpler and model training process. The LSTM model has improved but still shows a tendency towards higher bias over variance. In RNNs, the number of cells affects their learning rate, with each cell processing input sequences based information from the previous time step. For the simple stack and simpler RNN model is often sufficient, processing inputs sequentially and effectively capturing immediate temporal dependence. This visualization of prediction by the simple RNN results. This comparison of errors in modeling results of the model. The simple RNN model in particular performed remarkably well with the lowest simple squared error of NAFT point 1144. This is LSTM RNN is NAFT point 161. Stacked LSTM RNN NAFT point 133. Next, conclusion. The research identified multiple efficiency models for handling raw data and projecting greenhouse gas emissions. The suggested recurrent neural network facilitates the analysis and the projection of emissions in specific geographical regions across diverse temporal intervals. The neural networks is development inside her garnered employing various forms of recurrent neural network, including simple RNN, LSTM RNN, and stacked LSTM RNN. And the finding from the study indicates that the simple RNN model exhibits significant accuracy and predicting outliers. Furthermore, outcomes derived from constructing decision trees align entirely with those of components and cluster analysis. The proposed recurrent neural network stands poised to serve as a potentially for a tangible monitoring and forecasting system for CO2 emissions, catering to governmental bodies and the environmental entities. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ayala, for the presentation. I have one question. So there was studied the CO2 emissions, right? Is that like, I saw you got from the open source some data. I was just wondering, is that for some specific region where that data about the emissions for worldwide? No, this is not in the slide. I'm just saying, you said you got all the data set from the open source, right? So, and then data was for the amount of emission from CO2, right? Is that for specific region, country, city, or this is like worldwide? I don't know, like.
Yes. 1 minute, please. Yeah, this. Thank you for questions. Sorry. The details about the graphical scope of the CO2 emissions data weren't specified in the information provided earlier. The data could potentially be for a specific, city, region, country, or it might even be aggregated at a global level. If you have access to the dataset or any commercial access with it, you.
No, your research, is that for some specific region?
Oh, could you repeat the question? Sorry.
No, I'm saying you conducted the research, you have analyzed the amount of CO2 emission. So this emission, this pollution was in Kazakhstan or in America or where?
Yes, understand questions. The specific locational country for the CO2 emissions data wasn't mentioned in the this data person or to CO2 emission in Kazakhstan, America, or another location. It will be necessary to refer back to sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. You can take your time. Okay, or maybe we can move on to the next question if we have, no? Or let me ask one more question. So you have shown the amount of errors of each model, right? So there was 3 model and then the calculated errors. So how did you calculate actually that errors?
Yes, 3 models. This use min-max color for just I demonstrate my screen. I use the first min-max color, the results of the min-max color algorithm for scaling the original data set, and this results of the first LSTM. This is visualization. This is second LSTM RNN. This is simpler RNN model.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ayala Murzabayeva from IITU for the presentation of the paper, Use the Neural Networks in Prediction of Environmental Processes. Good luck with your further research in this topic. And now we can turn on to our next paper.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have missed, because of internet connections of our authors, from the first part of the today's presentation session. This is paper ID 88 and 89. So I can see that the authors from paper ID 89 are here. A deep learning for cardiovascular diseases detection on wearable devices data. So Ghalamjan, you can start your presentation.
Hello, can I start?
Yes, Ghalamjan, maybe you wasn't with us from the beginning. As we know, you had some technical issues. This is just a kind reminder that, yeah, thank you for turning on the camera. So I was just wanted to say that the camera has to be on. And the timing is 7 minutes for your presentation. Please, you can start.
Can I start? Our theme of presentation, a deep learning for cardiovascular disease detection on wearable devices data. Authors names of this state, Mirjam Baykovekov, Ajar Tursinova, and me, Ghalamjan Yesbayev. University Al-Farabi, Kazakh National University Al-Farabi, and Satpayev University, city country Almaty, Kazakhstan. The field of the relevance of the work. The field of healthcare has witnessed a remarkable transformation in the recent years, driven by advancement in technology and the increasing availability of the wearable devices. Early detection and accurate risk assessment are crucial for effective disease management. Wearable devices have the potential to continuously monitoring relevant physiological signals, including heart rate, electrocardiogram, ECG signals, and physical activity patterns. This continuous data stream offers an opportunity to develop predictive models that can aim in the early identification of individuals at risk of CVDs. The purpose and object of the study, this research paper aims to explore the application of the deep learning methodologies of the analysis of data collecting for wearable devices for the early detection of cardiovascular disease. This and ever aligns with the broader goal of leveraging technology to improve healthcare outcomes and reduce the burden of cardiovascular disease on individuals and healthcare systems. Second problem statements, the research focused on utilizing wearable devices and deep learning technology for accurating the continuously monitoring of heart disease key. The research also ensures designing a system to collect high quality time series data from wearable sensors, X, ECGT, HRT, BRT, deep learning models, specifically and convolutional neural network for ECG signals analysis and a recurrent neural network for temporal modeling of HR and BP data are proposed for data processing. The objectives functions involves binary classifications with a binary cross and entropy loss function aiming to predict the likelihood of heart disease of anomalies based on input signals. This formula of our model, and the second materials and methods. As can you see in these pictures, we use headbands, social metric badges, camera clips, smart watches, sensors embedded in clothing, and other functions. Wearable technology devices, including but not limited to smart watches and fitness trackers, process the capacity to amass extensive data sets pertaining to an individual's health and physical well-being, the primary mechanism. calculating this data acquisition with variable technology pertains to the utilization of an array of sensors. Figure one, the ensemble of sensors employed in variable technology encompasses heart rate monitoring device, global positioning system, GPS, tracker, accelerometer for measuring motion and acceleration, photo plethysmography, sensor designed to gauge the volume of blood circulation with the wrist region and the gyroscopes to detect oriented and motion changes. These pictures point for us collecting data from variable devices. And following page, in this picture, we can see heart disease monitoring using variable devices. Figure 2 underscores the importance of employing data segmentation in this research context. In the forthcoming sections, we will provide concrete illustration of how the integration of machine learning algorithm can contribute to a more profound comprehension of the data set. It's crucial to recognize that data segmentation plays a pivotal role in the discerning trends or irregularities within the data set. For example, the abrupt elevation in the heart rate noted during physical exertion may signify overextension or underlying health issues, exemplifying the diagnostic potential inherent in segmentation data. This layer of recognizing input layer, then dense layer, and ReLU softmax. This recognized for disease and healthy of model. This imagine this picture image for us results of neuron sequential orange accuracy and the loss blue point for us percent of loot, as despite in Fig for the attainment of comprehensive analysis necessitative concentration of foundational principles that have been laid out by our predecessor. This ensures the incorporation of data sourced from multiple events, including electrocardiography, heart sound recording, pulsation patterns, and continuous monitoring facilities by our wearable devices.
Sorry, Galimjan, as I said before, we have 7 minutes for each presentation, so you are already in 7 minutes.
Thank you for your attention, but I forgot create this page.
Okay, yeah, you were already in a conclusion, so I was thinking you have further more slides. Yeah, you can go for the conclusion.
Oi. Can I stop my presentation?
You can go for the conclusion.
Conclusion, yeah.
Yeah, I think you didn't go for the conclusion, right?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, you can conclude your presentation.
Include my presentation include collecting data from wearable devices and neural network models, process deep learning architecture for heart disease detection, and their result before and after. This point their result precision, recall, F1 score support. In a conclusion, this research paper has allocated the profound potential of deep learning methodologies in the domain of cardiovascular disease detection using data from wearable devices through meticulous analysis and utilization of diverse data sources, including electrocardiography, ECG, heart sound recording, pulsation patterns, and continuous monitoring facilities by wearable graders. We have Univiolet the capacity to develop robot predictive models.
Thank you, Olamjan, for the presentation. We can now turn on to the next Q&A session. If there is anyone who would like to ask regarding the presentation and the presented paper, so please welcome.
I ask several questions. The first question is what types or what kinds of wearable devices are you talking about?
For example, accelerometer, altimeter, digital camera, electrodiagram, electrocardiogram, electroencephalogram, location GPS, microphone, oximeter, pressure. We use various devices in this model. For
So do you have all of them?
yeah, we use all of them, and we я забыл это слово. We get their results for creating models.
Okay, so you use them to measure these physical parameters and
for prevent cardio diagram desire heart desires and prevent it.
But where did you get the data for your analysis? I mean, you had
data.
volunteers, right? And
my colleague Mirjan, he get their data sets and their data set get with their neighbor.
so have you taken the data from the open source, or you had volunteers like patients to which you applied your devices and actually measured the physical parameters?
I don't understand your question. Could you repeat it?
The data. You took the data from the open source from Kaggle.
It's open source, yeah, data set.
So you didn't measure anything by yourself, right? Within this research?
I don't measure. It's I get in open source resources for their colleagues in university.
So
you just said that you have all these devices, so it implies that maybe
we can extend these devices. We not have actual devices for accelerate this all of these conditions, but we have we can extend their results.
Because like as I understood, the paper named it as the detection on a wearable devices data. So my colleague also was asking, is this a specific one device which consists of several accelerometer and other devices which is included in one, or it is different devices and you got the data from each device?
We have not this device, but we can create it. Sorry.
Could you please repeat?
We can create this device, but we have not device that can add all of these functions. But this
No, you didn't have the device. Yes, I got it because you said you got the data from the open source, but I was saying, when you got the data from the open source, so in the open source data, did they measure from one device all the parameters, or you have, like, mixed together all the data from accelerometer and other devices?
all of the results we get from people characteristics for their they accelerate ultimate digital camera electrocardiogram and other functions. Sorry, my English speech.
Okay, thank you, Alamjan. I think we had a very nice discussion, which basically shows that your work is interesting. Now we can turn into our next and last presenter for today. This is paper ID 88. Zangar.
Sorry, can I stop my presentation?
Yes, yes, you can stop your presentation.
Thank you.
Zangar? But we don't have Zangar in the list of participants. Let's just wait for a few minutes for Zangar, because we got the message from him that he's joining. See that our last paper presenter, Jisen Zangar, is joined. Zangar, if you're ready, you can start your presentation for the paper ID 88, machine learning approach for detection of heart diseases using wearable devices. Just like kind reminder, you have 7 minutes for the presentation and you need to turn on your camera, please. Zangar, can you hear us?
Hi,
Zangar? Can you hear us? Zangar?
yes,
Zangar.
yes. Ладно.
Hello, Zangar. We was
Hello.
waiting for you for a long time. Now you can start your presentation. Please keep in mind that you have only 7 minutes for the speech, okay? Zangar? Zangar, вы нас слышите?
Да, слушай сейчас. Меня слышно?
Yes.
Демонстрация очень.
Zangar,
Да, сейчас.
вы можете начать презентацию.
Да, сейчас.
Вам нужно включить камеру. So you can start your presentation. You have 7 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Machine learning approach for detection of heart disease using a wearable device. The relevance of the work heart disease remain a pervasive global health concern, contributing significantly to morbidity and mortality rates across the world. The prevalence of heart-related disorders necessitates the development of advanced monitoring and detection techniques to provide timely interventions. This device offers the potential in heart disease monitoring by providing real-time data and early warnings. Traditional methods of diagnosing heart diseases primarily rely on sporadic clinical visits and static measurements. However, this approach often misses subtle changes in a patient condition between appointments. Wearable device equipped with various sensors and deep learning algorithms offer a dynamic solution by continuously collection data, allowing for a more comprehensive assessment of cardiac health. Next, the purpose and objectives of the study. This research paper explores the application of deep learning in the context of heart disease monitoring using a wearable device. We delve into the theoretical underpinning of deep learning and its adaptability to psychological data, emphasizing the need for specialist models trained on large data sets. Furthermore, we review recent advancement in sensor technologies and data acquisitions methods that enhance the accuracy and reliability of a wearable device in capturing relevant cardiac information. In this paper, we present an analysis of existing research and discuss the challenge associated with the adoption of wearable device in clinical practice and propose a novel deep learning-based approach for monitoring and detection heart disease. Our study aims to contribute to the ongoing efforts to enhance the precision and accessibility of cardiac health care, ultimately improving patient outcomes. Next, problem statement. The problem at hand revolves around the accurate and timely monitoring and detection of heart disease utilizing wearable device and the deep learning techniques. We aim to address the following key aspects: cardiac health assessment. The primary objective is to develop a reliable method for continuously assessing the cardiac health of individuals using a wearable device. This assessment involves the monitoring of physiological parameters such as heart rate, electrocardiogram signals, and blood pressure. Data acquisition and processing, we need to design a system capable of collecting high quality physiological data from wearable sensors. This data is represented as time series signals and includes signals, heart rate measurements, and blood pressure readings. Deep learning model to process and interpret the collected data. We propose the utilization of a deep learning model. In a practical, we will employ a convolutional neural network, signal analysis, and a recurrent neural network for temporal modeling of HR and big data. Next, materials and methods. The research hand delves into data feature extraction approach applicable to a wide spectrum of sensor affixed to individuals, animals, or objects contingent upon their ability to capture patient data attributes. This approach entails scrutinizing sensor-derived data to generate a comprehensive behavior set. As an example, one can discern an individual's running style by scrutinizing data characteristics encompassing metrics like hand movements, leg motions, and heart rate. Demonstrates a footage of the proposed system for heart disease detection. First picture, the intel step involves the fusion of information acquired from the device sensors, namely acceleration, angular velocity, and magnetic field data, utilizing the extent Kalman filter fusion technique. This amalgamation of data serves as a preparatory stage to facilitate the subsequent extraction of data features from variables sensor. Subsequently, a CNN model is employed to process concurrently accurate data. This process culminates in the recognition of human behavior once the initial state estimation reflects though the output data of the variable sensors is obtained. In conclusion, this research paper has endeavored to contribute significantly to the domain of heart disease detection and monitoring through the integration of wearable device and deep learning techniques. We embarked on a comprehensive journey, emphasizing the importance of continuous cardiac health assessment and the potential of wearable device to revolutionize healthcare by harnessing deep learning algorithms.
Thank you.
Okay.
Zangar, we are turning for the Q&A session. Dear colleagues, if there is any questions regarding the presentation, may I ask first question? You were saying you have used deep learning algorithms, right? That have demonstrated the effectiveness of the data for the disease you have done the research. Can you please name that algorithms?
Algorithms?
Yeah, what kind of algorithms? Is that like existing algorithms you use or what? What kind of algorithms you have used? Because you were saying this is a machine learning approach, right? Probably. Or maybe you can say in short, in your own words, what was the result of your work? Zangar?
Just algorithm.
Do you have any answer?
Algorithms is
This is algorithm.
this demonstration algorithm.
Can you just say the names of them? Because this is too like
CNN model. Subsequently, a CNN model is record to the concurrency acquired data. This picture algorithm.
So this is like well-known algorithm which is used for this kind of a detection of disease or what? Can you explain more about that algorithm?
Algorithm fed signals. Fed signals are the attributes future extraction. Second, future extraction. Diagnose assistant. Algorithm CNN.
Thank you for describing the flow chart. If there is no questions, yeah, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can fight the presentation. Dear colleagues, thank you everyone who have joined to our section number 2, IT and Education and the Research within our conference, Fourth International Conference on Smart Information Systems and Technologies, IEEE CIS 2024. Hopefully, we all had a fruitful discussion. All the papers was very interesting. With some of that, we had a really nice discussion, which basically shows the scientific novelty, the actuality, and the trends of that works. So I personally appreciate all the authors. Thank you for joining. Hopefully to see you next year. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. We are closing our section number 2. All the authors given in the program has presented their papers. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.